this is RG Dreamleague here from the DreamHack Monster Energy Studios. We are ready to go into our second series of the night. It is the Swedish Showdown Alliance versus NIP. And as said earlier today already on this couch, Alliance has been winning most of the matchups in the past. However, NIP won the most recent one, and before we actually talk about the draft, I want to hear from you guys. What do you think?
They're actually 2-2 recently.
2-2 recently.
The past 4 games, 2-2. So they're pretty fair. So Alliance obviously is trying to do TI3 stuff, as we see the Wisp first pick. And they're doing okay. Like, you know, they won some, they lost some. I think these two teams, they played against each other so much, simply because, you know, the two Swedish teams, they probably scrim against each other so much. They also have a lot of respect for each other. I don't think any team will severely outdraft the other, because I think they understand each other so well. I really think it comes down to just play, execution.
So if you're drafting for these teams, which would, like, so say you're Alliance, do you meet Ninjas Pajamas in the early game or the late game? Like, how do you do it?
I think they both team plays great early and great late, or they can. So it's just how the draft develops. I don't think you walk in and draft, you're like, I want to do late game right now, or I want to do early.
I mean, yesterday we saw NIP's diversity, right? We talked about how they're a team that loves to thrive in the late game when Era gets all of his big items.
Fight early.
And in game 2, man, they took it to 4CL early on. So many kills in the early game. So
looks like they're going to do that in this game as well.
I mean, it worked out, right?
Exactly. So I think this is a pretty even matchup, like Lumi says. To me, Alliance is the big wild card here. Do they show up to play with something they know that works, or are they showing up to experiment today? That's the big question for me.
TI3 worked.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
It works now.
Sometimes.
So this is where they picked the Bat Rider, right?
Nature's Prophet first ban is still a thing, apparently, by the way.
You play against Alliance.
I mean, even if you don't think Nature's Prophet is the strongest hero right now, he is not fun to play against. Lumi the Prophet.
I really like that. I really, really like that. Obviously, it is TA3, but it's also slightly new. So it's one of those heroes that, you know, could make a comeback here, and they would be one of the first teams to actually experiment with it again. I really like to see that.
I think Bat Rider has some potential. It's just that initial laning stage where he needs to get something, as we talked about yesterday. He can get to the jungle once he's level 3, level 4, but level 1 jungle is, is it even possible?
But he won't get level 1 jungle. He's gonna get level 1 mid. Now,
you think S4 is gonna play at mid? S4 is gonna play at mid, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
There's no doubt in my mind.
No doubt in your mind? Okay.
That's how I
was thinking that they would put it in off lane, but...
Yeah, they've been playing it past 6-7 games mid only.
They've played it that many times?
That many times.
Okay.
It's not even new. It's like standard now for them.
All right. I'm out of the Alliance loop then.
S4 in the past, TA3 era, was the Bat Rider player that always, on average, hit most people with his flame break all the time. In terms of how much damage enemies took, he was the player who made sure that most enemies took damage from the flame break. So he knew how to position those flame breaks.
Pretty legit
It's a very legit stat. I thought so too. But in this case, it is of course very important because it means it's all about positioning, right? And flame break is a really good tool to make sure that positioning is not going to happen properly. And if you want to knock Tusk outside of the other side of his own frost shards, perhaps, might be a thing to look out for.
Yeah.
Against Ember Spirit as well, like an extremely mobile carry hero, like having that blink initiation to try and...
Yeah. Nothing surprising about this third ban from Alliance, but super smart here.
What do you think about the ban of Ninjas Pajamas?
The Life Stealer, huh? Yeah.
I mean, I think they actually lowered their win rate by banning it. Now Loda can't do we're ancienting stuff. I'm just joking. I'm sure Loda recognized, you know, that's probably not the best strategy.
I don't know, it has potential, definitely.
It does, but only for a short duration. I think you get in it, you go into 1 or 2 quick ganks, you get a tower, and that's it. You get all of that thing and you start farming.
You can't do it for the whole game.
I actually tried it in a game, and it looks cooler than it is, 100%.
You know what's the best ganking creep with that? Is actually the Mud Golem.
Oh, because that is a stun, the Hurl Boulder.
It's not just a stun. It gives you a whole bunch of damage. You Golem toss, you split out of Infest, you double Golem toss, you add like a Finger of Death of Warf damage on top of that. That's insane.
I think Legion Commander is actually one of the best counters to Bat Rider in the game.
They have 2 now. You could Blink Snowball, and you could press the attack to debuff the lasso.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So
it's also really good against Io, because Io is always trying to be in the back of the fight. You can blink behind, just duel him, kill him instantly.
Well, there's the Doom, 3rd pick for Alliance.
All right, so a little bit of Bat 101 for people that haven't really seen too much of him, because again, TI3 is a while back. When you pick Bat Rider as a core, you really need 2 other heroes that deals you the DPS, because Bat Rider ain't doing that much DPS. So we do see in the past you pair with Lone Druid quite a bit, or for example Lifestealer.
Yeah.
In fact, that's kind of their lineup. Lone Druid, Lifestealer.
With the Infest Bomb above.
Yeah, with the Bat Rider. And so Doom here is going to have to pick up quite a bit of damage item to compensate for the lack of damage of Bat Rider. And essentially how S4 plays it is the first 5 to 7 minutes he just farms in the lane. His supports will stack the jungle for him. He gets an 8 to 10 minute Blink Dagger, and then he just never farms anymore. The only time he ever farms is just steal creeps from the enemy jungle, or maybe see an opportune lane, and then he just creates space. So this is the very traditional mid, like how Dendy and S4 used to play it.
Like when we talk about Alliance, the way they kind of play is S4 doesn't actually play like a core mid, like in a Shadow Fiend that much, or a campaign. More plays like the Space Creators, like we've seen on Brewmaster, Bat Rider,
Magnus, those kind of heroes.
The heroes that like get the tempo going.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like they rely on Admiral Bulldog in the offlane and load it more.
I think that's why Alliance has been struggling a bit, because right now the current meta game is you play Shadow Fiend mid, you play Lina mid, Leshrac mid, all of these heroes that are not necessarily tempo controller, but farmers. And S4, I don't want to say he didn't fit in the meta, but that's not where his greatest strength is. I think the greatest strength is his Puck, his Bat Rider, these tempo controllers. And we're going to see it this game, but like you said, there's a lot of counters already existing for this Bat Rider. So
Ancient Apparition's a great pick here, though. Fabulous against the Doom, as we talked about before, to get rid of his new super regen. Also pretty good against the Wisp and anyone who he's tethered to. But here's a fun one. Lich, the 4th pick now for Alliance.
It's really good against Legion Commander. You got the, like when people snowball in, you have the Lich ulti on top of it. Like the Ice Armor is amazing against like Jewel, for example. Doom, one of the lowest armor heroes in the game.
But at the same time, I feel like they're kind of lacking on the Sables right now, and they're out of support slots.
Yeah, but there's still a Sven. I
just pick up Aghanim, some Bat Rider. That's doubling your disables for your Lich.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking is Doom plays in the offlane with Lich, and then they pick Sven IO. For their sort of for the mid lane.
I like that actually.
And then Bat Rider's solo safe.
That's a good idea. Yeah, Lich does make up for that armor that Doom lacks early on. That can give him a little bit of a buff in the laning phase. What do you think about Lich in general right now, Lumi? I get the feeling that he doesn't... I'm not sold on the Lich pick.
He's really bad in a meta where there's Night Stalker or Spirit Breaker that just runs at you because you just want a hard stun.
Right.
At the same time, when they run at you and they're in your face, a good Chain Frost does a ton of damage.
It's true.
So it's kind of on and off for me. I'm actually going to use this game to see if Lich is good or bad. So.
All right, no pressure here, Alliance.
No pressure indeed. What do you think last pick for Alliance should be?
PA is in the pool. They really like PA.
At
the same time, there's a ton of burst damage.
And you said Sven already, indeed?
Yeah. I'm leaning with PA simply because they're so comfortable with the hero.
I've seen them play Sven a lot, and like when I think of Sven, I actually think of Alliance, to be honest.
Could it be Lone Druid offlane?
And Doom carry?
It could be.
Reserve time.
I mean...
Doom IO.
Yeah,
it
just
pairing.
takes a while to get going, and I'm not sure if they're going to have that time because Bat Rider needs a while to get his item up, and Lich is not that great in holding off the lanes that much. They need something that can be active earlier on, like a Sven, that can already find
the stun as well.
It's a different stage of taking a while, right? Bat Rider takes the first 10 minutes or so, and then Lone Druid takes the next
15
an hour to get ready.
I also like the Zeus here against the Bat Rider to try and disrupt his Blink Initiation. If you're suspicious they're going to hop in, you just pop the Thunder God's Wrath and messes up the initiation.
Okay, when they pick the last hero, I want to hear from you guys instantly, like just
say the team that's going to win.
Who do you think is going to win?
I'm already with Alliance before you even pick the last
Without even the 5th pick?
Without even 5th pick.
Okay. It's the Race King who has the Disable that you mentioned. You said Nip.
Nip
Alliance. I'm gonna go for Alliance as well. So it's gonna be evenly spread here across the board. That means it is time to go into our first game of Alliance versus NIP with OD Pixel and Draskell.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the caster panel here at Dreamleague. Myself, OD Pixel, and of course here with my beautiful co-caster Draskell. And we are ready to take you through Game 1 of Alliance versus Ninjas in Pyjamas, which is about to get kicked off any moment now as we have both teams picking up their heroes. And Andy, well, we've seen the draft. What do you make of it?
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, it's going to be down to what the lanes actually shape up to be here for Alliance.
Okay.
I kind of like what Shane said, the idea of sending the Lich and the Doom together in lane, because I mean, one of the problems with Doom is you're going to be devouring creeps in the jungle every once in a while when you can, if you're off lane, but you're not always going to be able to do that. So when you devour, you innately push the lane out. So with a Lich there, and no longer sharing experience with enemies, even if they're in range when you deny, it just makes the hero that much better of a laner in general. Now, it could also be something that Nip could do about it and say, okay, well, if you're going to do a 2-2 or 2-1-2, we can do the same. And then you're going to have a Wisp Wraith King versus potentially an LC and an AA or a Tusk, which I don't think that Alliance are going to be able to do much about. I think their Wisp could even potentially die in that lane, so we'll see. But if Alliance can get better lanes, I think they'll be all right. Otherwise, I'm kind of in agreement that Nip probably have the stronger team.
We're going to see, of course, those trees just being cleared out here by Minot, so they can get those stacks going on.
Oh, did he not spot him? Wow. So top lane, I think... Okay, never mind.
No,
they did see him. I was going to say, if they didn't see him, that's actually really nice. But yeah, Ake did get spotted there.
Yeah, so once again, another couple of interesting lineups from both teams here, which is exactly what we like to see. So far, Dreamleague's been... we must have had a good variety of heroes being picked up across the games.
Dude, I'm loving this.
We're seeing something different every game, yeah.
It seems like after the 6.83 balance changes, everyone seemed pretty succinct in that, okay, well, this patch is definitely the best patch in a long time. And then we had a patch after that that was just a tweak patch. It wasn't like a rebalancing completely, it was just fixing some of the stuff that was a little bit too overpowered. So we're transitioning from a patch that was already good into arguably an even better patch where more things are viable. So I'm looking to see a lot of new stuff in this patch.
Indeed, and mid lane, as we were saying, as it was being said in the draft, S4 on his Batrider, so going up against Limp here on the Zeus. I mean, what can we expect to see from this lane?
I think both heroes kind of just farm. You're going to probably want to stick in this lane, to say the very least, as both these heroes are very spam heavy. I think S4 is going to be pretty happy with it, though, because a lot of the time, you're playing against another mid, like a Queen or an SF or something, that has an easy time denying you. But Zeus, not really that great at right-click CS, not really great at denying creeps, so I think in the end, Alliance are going to be quite happy with this lane, at least.
Okay, and talking about the other lanes as well, we've just actually seen a TP here from Hansken. He was up on the top, so he's decided to come down here and join forces with Jonas and Fan on the Legion. I mean, what's up with this decision? Why do you feel that NIP have made this movement at this point of the game?
Well, it's kind of what I was saying earlier. You can't really send the Tusk top. I mean, what's he going to do there, right? Like, it's a Lich and a Doom. You can't go on the Doom because he has Scorched Earth. He's pretty much invincible with that thing in lane. And then Ake is going to be too far back to initiate on. So kind of having the Tusk there, I feel, is a little bit of a waste. But if you put him bottom, he's going to be getting more experience. Helps zone out the Wisp entirely. As right now, my nuts is saying, okay, well, I can't really do anything against these heroes. I'm just going to try to pull, get my experience that way. That means that Jonas and Fan pretty much gets free farm in his lane. And even if Loda is farming as well, you're still at least trading. You're not just giving away the safe laner's lane for free. So I think this is probably the best possible choice for lanes that Nip had available. And if they get like a decent rune, they might be able to apply some pressure mid. But I do think it's kind of unlikely that they'll find a kill.
Bottom lane, we are going to see Loda trying to turn with my nuts on to Jonas and Fan, but he will simply, of course,
he needs to be careful.
The overwhelming odds and get himself out.
That Wisp has 0 armor, so if he gets Snowball sharded and gets caught out, LC got that 4 base damage buff, man. That's all I'm saying. She hits hard. 66 damage at what, level 2?
It's true, he's got to be careful, especially...
And Orb of Venom.
With Limp. He's going to have himself a haste rune bottled up here. S4 won't be able to get his hands on that one this time. And S4 has now got boots here as well as the bottle in the mid lane. Last hits, of course, for the two heroes. 10 for 3 on your bat compared to the 8 for 1 on the Zeus. So slight lead, but also very close at this point. Top lane, Era getting forced back here by the harassment from Ake. Bottom lane, they're going to go in and they might just get away with it. You talked about how squishy Minuts was, and they will find the kill. Loda trying to find a return, will find the Ray Fire Blast onto Hansken, and does find himself a return kill. Now Jonas and Fan trying to give it some here against Loda, and Loda walking himself around the creep wave, getting low here. One more right click. I think Jonas and Fan's going to find this as well. Will get it. Nothing that Minuts can do to save him, and a double kill for Jonas and Fan in the off lane. He's going to be, well, NIP, they're going to be incredibly happy with that started out. I mean, 1,200 gold now on your Legion.
He got a couple of really nice Moment of Courage procs there onto Loda when they were fighting in the creep wave. That's the one nice thing about offlane LC. If you have a Stout Shield and you're tanking creeps, with the new changes to the ability, well, I say new, but it's like a couple of patches now. you pretty much are going to get a moment of courage. Like, it's just going to happen. And now they want to try to go for the return kill here. Bottom lane, S4 also getting low.
Trying to get the body blocks here onto Jonas and Fan. Loader, waltzing around, has got 2 points here in the Fire Blast, and here we go. They should be able to get themselves a return kill. So they do get the kill on Legion mid lane. Zeus tries to go in with Handscan, but S4 ends up turning it around and taking the kill for himself, and now he's going to even try and love Handscan himself. Hey, there is a snowball here, but now with Minuts joining forces with S4. Handscan, he's going to try and juke this one out, but with 4 stacks of sticky napalm on him, a flame break, bringing him back. S4 with the right clicks will get the kill there. So S4 now sitting on 2 kills on this mid lane bat. And Jonas Van actually TPing into mid, trying to see if he can find anything against it, but it's not going to be the case. And he's going to have to make the long walk back to the bottom lane. So 4 for 2 at the moment, and so far in, the early game fights favoring the side of Alliance.
And as we talked about, Alliance getting the laning phase down, that's huge for them. And in this top lane too, we also have to consider this is an Ember up against the Lich. This Doom is the highest CS in the game right now. Like, Bulldog is 23 and 6. Here comes the snowball.
They're looking for Ake straight in. Here we go with the chilling touch as well. Ake trying to do what he can to waltz around. He's not going to get out of there. Goes down. Bulldog will be able to TP out back to the tower though.
Yeah.
So, well, it could have been worse.
I think it's possible that Bulldog could have gotten a return kill there. Like, he probably could have killed Seal Kid. Like, probably. But there is also a chance that he would have died for it, and I don't think that probably would have been worth it for him at all. So he's going to be content to just TP back to his tier 1 and say, all right, yeah, that's fine. You're dead, Ake. See you later. And Ake, being the boss that he is, takes one for the team.
Good old Ake indeed. Mid lane, a lot of focus being put on by NIP. They've got Jonas and Fan and a Handscan there. They're looking for potentially some kind of snowball initiation onto S4, but S4 backing up, using the camps here to the side of the lane. And it's not going to be any kind of positive action for NIP there. And they're going to send Handscan and Jonas and Fan back down to the bottom. As Loader has been given a bit of space here. We'll be able to get that level 6 online right now. And what do you reckon of the build here? Kind of interesting. 3 points of the Wraith Fire Blast and the rest in stats so far on his way to level 6. And it does have a point in Reincarnate now.
A lot of Wraith Kings do different builds. So sometimes you'll see 1 point into Lifesteal early on and 1 point into Mortal Strike and then the rest in the Wraith Fire Blast. So instead of 2 stats, you'd have like 1 and 1, which it pushes the lane out a little bit, gives you a little bit more burst damage if you get lucky with a crit. But the level 1 multiplier is only 150, so it's not like, you know, it's not insane crit rate like PA, for example, or anything like that. So I think having the 2 points into stats means that you can Tread Switch, have 2 stuns, and Reincarnate, which is good.
Top lane. Bulldog looking like he wanted to go there. Did pop the Scorched Earth, and he's got Miners backing him up with Ake. They won't be able to try actually start the fight off. Error going to play very safely. And yeah, as you said earlier, the laning stage, in terms of CS as well, we can see top 3 all on the board are the cause of Alliance, and certainly having the greater time at bottom lane. Loader leading something in. Minus is going to come in for the help as well. Looking for Jonas and Fan there. Jonas and Fan going to go for the straight TP out. Will escape. Loader might be able to find a Handscan. He's got the stun again. There'll be the snowball trying to buy some time here for the Tusk. He tries to push Loader back in with the shards. Will look for the Duke around. He's popping a Clarity, but it will be his last for this point in time, as they should find him. He's creating space. Take a little bit of time there, but they do finish him off there. Minuts with the Spirit. Making it 5 for 3 now. Top lane, Ake. Just moving forward with Bulldog. Bulldog halfway through 5, nearly has that ult online. It's looking good so far for Alliance. NIP still need to find that big kind of gank or engagement where they can get themselves back on the board and on top in terms of farm.
I really like the fact that Bulldog has gotten the mana regeneration / heal creep. That thing is so good for this lane especially. I mean, between Ake already being able to use Sacrifice to get some mana back, he has that mana regeneration aura as long as he's close enough. And I'm going to see another stun onto the LC. Not any follow-up though. And I feel like Alliance are still getting the better of the lanes, but the mid-game for NiP is the part that I feel is scary. Because that AA Blast comes out, you get a duel on that, you get a Zeus ulti. It's very easy for NiP to secure duel wins. I think that's one of the really cool things about their draft is normally you kind of have to have people in the area to make sure that they can follow up on the duel. But these two guys have global presence. So it's like, all right, you got the duel, we got your damage. And then you just snowball off that.
Top lane, Handscan looking for a movement here with Limp. They're going to lead straight in with the snowball onto a Bulldog. And well, down with Limp here as well, but he's going to get doomed up straight away. Minus has turned up, giving the regen hit to Bulldog with 3 points as well. The scorched earth, they just can't kill this Doom. Hansken getting incredibly low. Jonas and Van looking for the duel, will find it onto Minus. So just get the bonus damage. Ake trading hits with Seal Kid on the left. We're going to see finally Bulldog, with the help of S4, take down Limp on the Zeus. Making it a 1-for-1. S4 moving forward here, seeing if he can find anything more. Has got this Firefly here to try and close the gap. The Zoo is still available, but there's 4 heroes at the moment on the side of NIP. It's going to be a hard one for S4 to pull someone out of. And it looks like it will just settle down as that 1-for-1 between the two sides, but of course, favoring the side of Alliance as they do take down Limp.
Am I the only one who finds it weird that 4 heroes from NIP were there, and they had a lane ward, and they knew that S4 was the only person there, and all 4 heroes ran away? Every single hero just ran away from a solo Batrider. I mean, I know S4 is like, he's pretty good, right? Pretty good Dota player. But I just find it pretty funny that even with all that up, they just walk away from him. They want to go on Bulldog, though.
They're going to get the shards block here, but there will be some TP reactions here. The damage bringing Bulldog.
So tanky!
Oh no! He gave away the duel damage. Bulldog wins the duel. Now with the Chain Frost bouncing around, they do find an extra kill here. Era trying to fight up against Ake will get himself the double. So he drops the Lich, he drops the Doom. Now Minus coming in with the Spirits, looking for Era. He's got to get his balls in the right position here, and he might just do it, and he will. Minus there clears up Ember Spirit. So they do still find the return kills.
That
and
was
Bulldog
like,
with the +10.
that was the most optimistic duel ever. Maybe he was hoping that the Zeus ulti would come out a tiny bit faster. Maybe that would have given him the damage that he was looking for. But, you know, Bulldog will take it. It's not bad.
Yeah, he will indeed. And build-wise, he's, of course, going for the drums. Bottom lane, Jonas and Fan Loader. Giving a bit of a 1v1 here. Loader. He's being eyed up as well by Hansken, who has moved down to join Jonas and Fan on this bottom lane. It's going to be a hard kill, though, of course. Does have that reincarnate. Still yet to be procced. Mid lane S4 going straight in with the blink onto Limp. Now being backed up by Minus. They'll look for this one. There's going to be a TP reaction from Hansken. The snowball straight away onto S4. But S4 continues to chase, trying to go here for this one with the Firefly. Ice Blast flies through, and now they're trying to turn it. But Minus with the regen, keeping S4 up. And Hansken, stuck in his own shards, will go down. Jonas Van turns up, will get a duel win onto Minus. So they do find the return kill, as it is just a 1-for-1. So likes it will be all for the moment in the mid lane. Drums now complete here on Bulldog. 10 for 7, 11 minutes in, we're seeing a lot of action already between these two sides.
I mean, it seems like this is the theme, is everyone wants to fight all the time, except for the second game between MFF and Empire. That game was not really super fight-oriented. This one, though, when you see Ember, you see Tusk, you see LC, all these heroes, they want to fight. I mean, Batrider is pretty much the same and such, and middle lane, lots of damage onto Ake. There's the Ice Blast, he eats a Slight, and a Zeus ulti, and he's dead. Can't live through that.
They'll be happy with that one, NIP. Anything they can get to keep themselves in. 10 for 8. And let's have a look, in fact. So the individual net worth of heroes as well, as we can see. S4 top of the board there. Bulldog might be in a bit of trouble. The wraparound's coming in. He does get off the scorch and he's just going to run. And look how fast he is. They'll try and chase him down here. They will get the Searing Chains out. Jonas Fan does have a duel. The shards won't quite reach that of Alliance.
So
and now,
fast.
Loader comes straight in and he's got the blink picked up and he'll help them find the first kill onto AA. Does get the snowball back here. Hansken. Era's been doomed up, so can't offer that much to the fight. Limp is there with the defensive Thunderbolts. But Alliance will stand strong here on the top lane. And they may just look to try and take the tier 1. I mean, look at that NIP. They don't know where to go. They're just making their slow way back to base. They don't want to hang anywhere near this tower. And Alliance having more than enough space. You have got S4 as well at the same time, smoked up with the blink available. Haste Rune as well. That signature red beauty here for the boy. And they'll just get this tower. So Alliance get the space for the tier 1. And NIP will now look to just kind of regain their strength elsewhere across the map and try and get some farm whilst Alliance fight is fine.
Limp, he's popped the haste. He wants him so bad.
Middle tower is under attack.
All right, he's not going to go for it anymore.
Dire's structures are fortified.
I mean, the thing with NIP's lineup right now is they kind of need Thunder God's Wrath and they need Ice Blast both up cooldown to take a fight because their laning phase has not been great. They had a decent start in the beginning where they managed to kill the Wisp in lane. They traded, I think, Hansken for it. But after that, bottom lane wasn't really going that great anymore because I think they transitioned the Tusk out of the lane, eventually went to gank top instead. And then you had Jonas and Fan left down there all on his own. And to his credit, he's still doing all right. Had that one missed duel in top, but He's still got 20 damage to his name, which is more than I've seen any LC have so far here at the Asus RG Dream League at before 15 minutes. Like, this is the most damage. And smoke. Loda's going to break it here.
Loda, yeah. Oh, gets the blink out, though. They don't choose to initiate on him. They want to find Bulldog. They're going to go for him here. Scorched Earth comes out. And Bulldog just so hard to kill. Now turns around out. Minus with a heal. Looking for Era. He's been doomed up. They should be able to find the Ember kill. Loda close the gap. He needs a crit or two. He's not going to get it. Era will still go down there to the Doom. There wasn't a deny for some reason.
He had heal, too.
Bit of miscommunication there from the side of NIP. Loda. Oh, nothing to cancel this TP. Hansken does get out. Looks like the rest of NIP will be able to escape. Oh, no, hang on, S4. He's turned up here. Looking for the flame break back. It does have a lasso here. Can't quite find the range, but it doesn't matter. Ray Fire Blast onto Limp. There is the purge there from Jonas and Fan, but it doesn't matter. Limp to fall. And Alliance taking the 2 kills there off the back of that fight. And remaining in lead at this point of the game. 1800 gold now coming out on your Bat Rider. Doom, Bulldog sitting on 1900 as well. Looking very healthy for this point. And Loda, he's been turning up to the fights and in quite some style as well. 3 kills, 3 assists, and he's only died the once this game. So all-round Alliance playing at the top of their game at the moment.
I really like the way they've built their lineup. Up until I saw the Lich, I really felt like their lanes were going to be a little bit lackluster. Because whenever you see Doom, you think, okay, well, the hero doesn't need to do well in lane. But I feel Bat, in general, is not the greatest laner, so I was kind of worried about that. Then I saw Zeus from Nip, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, he could probably do well in that matchup. So there's already 2 lanes that are going to go okay. Bottom was the only one I was kind of questioning after I saw the full 5-man rosters from both, and Alliance has even managed to make that lane work, which I thought would probably be the one that was hardest to win for them out of all 3. So with that being said, they have 2 blinks up already on the Bat Rider, on the Wraith King. They can force fights whenever they want, and we know that S4 is an amazing Bat player. You know, this is one of the heroes that he was known for outside of his puck, and back then I think he played a little bit of Queen as well. But this game, I mean, Alliance have such momentum right now.
Oh, they really do. I mean, 6.7k on your S4 Bat Rider compared to the 4k on Limp Zeus. The differences are very apparent here in terms of farm. I'm still going to see if NIP can find just those big team fights. We're going to see Seal Kid, of course, working towards that Axe. He's not opting for the Midas this game on the AA. Has picked up the straight-up point booster. Bottom lane, Loda returns to farming. 1,200 gold on top of that. Blink Dagger. Well, it's just hanging around with him as well. Mid lane, S4. With the 4-staff complete, wants to go for it. Blinks forward. Can't quite find the lasso, though, and there is backup.
Oh, he broke the smoke, too.
And it's a good job that the fight didn't kick off there for S4, because he could have been in a lot of trouble. Jonas and Van, oh, he's going to get the straight-up duel here onto Minus, and with the backup as well. The flame break is there, and oh, no, doesn't matter. The duel will still go down. Jonas and Fan takes the kill, but he may pay with his life here. So S4 trying to fight up against him. Ice Blast will come out, connects onto Loda. Chain Frost bouncing between Era and Hansken. Hansken with a punch onto Ake. Locks him up in the shards as well. Era moving forward here with the Remnants. But no, he actually turns. He wants to get himself out. Minus is there with Loda. Era remnants himself away. Bulldog moving in. Has got the Doom still available. He's going to look to drop it. Can't quite get the cast onto Era. And the rest of NIP do get themselves away and out of this one, of course. In that fight, there was a buyback there from Minuts on the eye, trying to do what he can on all S4. Tries to cancel that TP, but couldn't quite make it there in time.
That is really depressing, actually, for Nip. The duel didn't even give damage to the LC. Like, it ended maybe, like, I don't know, half a second before the Wisp actually went down. He buys back, saves Ake's life with the buyback. I think Alliance are just bringing their A-game here in the first of the series between them and Nip. I mean, there's still some Dota to be played here in this game. It's only a 4-kill advantage. The biggest concern that I have right now is this Ember has 40 CS. 40. It's 17 minutes in. Era's the kind of guy who typically is looking at like double-digit or triple-digit, excuse me, CS by now. Nice reaction.
Very, very nice indeed. Era straight out with the zip zap. Bulldog. Shadowblade complete and has that Doom available. He sees Handscan, but he may be wanting to go for bigger targets. Now he says we'll settle for the Handscan kill. Moves in. That's so set up there from S4. Now putting himself on a mega kill streak. And S4's Bat, a thing of the past, but he's bringing it back. 5 kills, 1 assist, hasn't died at all yet this game here on the Bat Rider.
I think the flame break change is actually way bigger than I originally had thought, just in terms of how much damage it does. Because of the fact that it deals damage over time, every single tick of that is also affected by sticky napalm. So every stack is an extra 20 damage on top of the fact that it ticks, what, 6 times, I think it is, at max level? So yeah, I mean, just one. That's 120 extra damage for level 3 Napalm on a level 4 Flame Break. That's insane. That actually hits so hard. Maybe Lumi was right, man. Maybe it's time for the Veil Batrider.
Maybe. It'll be interesting to see what S4 does go for next. He has saved up a bit of gold now on top of the 4-star, 1300 bottom lane. Oh, blinking straight in. Loader trying to go for Limp. We'll be able to get the tower, but now with the snowball coming in from Hanskin, they're looking to try and turn this one NIP. They do the duel straight away to minus. They will win it. Jonas and Fan takes the kill. Stun from Loader onto Hanskin. He does still have that reincarnate available, so he's going to stick around. He's going to need some backup, and backup is inbound. S4's there with Bulldog down the lane. And NIP, they just don't want to hang around. Hanskin incredibly low. The rest of them realizing backup was inbound for Loader. They won't be able to kill him a second time, so once again, they do just get the Aya.
Yeah, but that time the duel was actually a win, so... Whenever Jonas and Fan can walk away with some damage, I am definitely supporting that fight for Nip. They didn't lose anything in the process. I guess they committed kind of heavily to it, but again, Alliance weren't able to really pressure anywhere else on the map. They didn't get a tower. Mid still standing okay for Nip at the moment. I think all in all, it was fine.
I'm looking across the game so far. Any big item pickups coming out for the side of NIP. We've got 1k on Ember. So Era decides to opt for next. S4 just blinking forward in the mid lane. Scaring back Jonas and Fan. And this smoke up on the bottom from NIP. Hanskin and Era. They'd love to make something happen here, but Loader's looking pretty scary. Has got level 11. Has got the Yoga Club as well in the stash. So working towards that BKB. Still going to hang around here, don't it? For the two of them to find this pickoff, it's going to be hard. Reincarnate is not online. Ice Shards are going to miss, and he's just going to blink himself away. The Snowball won't connect. Ice Blast will do. But he just throws out the stun, and he'll look to ward this one back off. He's got the tier 1 there, so if TPs are required, they will be coming out from Alliance. But yeah, NIP just realizing they can't find anything without smoke.
Well, the other thing, too, is if the Ice Blast miss, you can't really go in. You have to wait for everything to be up. We talked about that a little bit earlier, too. Just have the Zeus ulti up, have the AA ulti up, duel somebody, and then go ham.
Shadowblade up in the jungle. Seal Kid and Limpar, they're both looking for S4 here on the Batrider. Era has been spotted out by Bulldog. He's going to go for the straight Doom. No, he's going to let Era go. Era will ram away. Hanskin coming forward here. Now Bulldog will drop the Doom here onto Hanskin. They have already lost S4. Bulldog's trying to do his best here to try and find a return kill. Should be able to get Hanskin, and he will. Gets the Hanskin kill. The duel hit from Jonas and Fan. Will it be victorious? It won't, but they do still finally finish off Bulldog. So it's a 2 for 2 so far. Chain Frost bouncing in onto Limb. Loader now on a killing spree as they make this trade a 3 for 2. So Alliance, even though they start off that one losing S4 on the Batrider, they do manage to come out on top eventually.
The weird part about that fight is the experience and gold actually still favored Nip, even though they lost one more person.
I guess they were big kills.
Yeah. I mean, they actually came out of that ahead, which is really strange to look at, but that is in fact the case. So good on Nip for managing to get that stuff. Again, not a duel win. I mean, it's kind of painful, but dueling Doom of all heroes, that thing is so beefy. He's got, what, 3.2 strength gain, I think, one of the highest of any heroes in the game. He hasn't built any armor items yet, but once he does, he is going to be damn tanky. And you can see the advantage that Alliance have built for themselves here. A little bit over 10,000, or under 10,000 gold and around 75 to 8,000 experience. It's very, very impressive for this early stage. But you could just tell Alliance were winning the lane so hard. As soon as they get their blinks, they start controlling the game. This feels like the Alliance of old. They get a lane advantage, they control everything after they get their lane advantage, and then it becomes very difficult for Nip to fight back.
That certainly does. Mid lane, load up. Just pushing it in here. He's going to look for the tier 1. He did opt to turn the Yoga Club into a Sange, so he's picked that up here as the first part of his next big item. Bulldog sitting on 2.7k gold down top of the Shadowblade. I mean, what's next on the menu here for this this dual offlane Doom?
I wonder if you just go straight Ags. Because, I mean, Aghanims makes you even tankier. It pretty much guarantees that a Doom is going to be a kill, like 90% of the time. Because even if they walk straight away from you, you're still going to refresh the Doom at least 2 or 3 times, right? Because you pop Scorched Earth, you maybe chase him a bit, keep the buff on, or debuff, I guess, for a little bit longer. He could also opt to go for something like Vlad's. Go for the Aura-centric Doom build, which I also think is very good. Helps him with their 5-man potential, too. And plus, Vlad's and Vampiric Aura, that's what? Like 40 some odd % lifesteal. It's pretty nuts.
Load up. We'll get this middle tier 1 here. More gold is the pocket of Wraith King. NIP groups up as 4 at the moment in their own jungle. Just trying to find some... Make sure there's no ward vision here out for the side of Alliance. And S4 is now sitting on 2,500. Thunder God's Wrath will come out just for scouting.
Wow, they owned that illusion rune. They just dumped everything on that. They even threw out an Ice Blast. I think afterwards he realized that it wasn't actually him. It was just like, oh, whatever. Just gonna let this one go, I guess.
They're gonna go for Roche here, the side of Alliance. Loader and Minot's moving in. S4 and Ake there to back them up as well. So the full 5-man has turned up. Ice Blast will be available again in 13 seconds. And it's also worth noting as well, AA is making his way quite nicely now towards the Aghanims on top of the Yoga Club. Coming up to 800, so just 1200 to go before he picks that one off. TPs are coming down to the tier 2. Limp has arrived. Can NIP do anything to stop this though? We'll check out for the ward. And here comes the Ice Blast. It's going to be a nice one. Connects onto 3. Legion with the overwhelming odds from the high ground. Is anyone going to be able to jump in? Yeah, oh, he's going to do it. Jonas Fan, oh, he snatches it. He's got the Aegis. Will steal it. Loader still looking to try and find the kill, but Jonas Fan, oh, you know, he stays alive here. It's going to be Wraith King having the reincarnate ult popped. Loader will finally, he finishes off Jonas Fan here. We'll blink down here to find the kill onto Hansken. So we're going to see Jonas Fan here back for round 2 with the Aegis. We'll blink up to the high ground. We're nearly getting Minos there with the overwhelming odds from up on the cliff. So TP's himself out, so they don't manage to steal the Roshan, but they steal the Aegis. And they do get a trade off the back of that.
I can't believe he actually got it. That was like the most YOLO blink ever. I was like, okay, that going in there is super risky, but like he said, he did manage to get it, so good on him for that. And I think the Zeus ulti was down, right? Because
it was, yeah, because they used it earlier towards the top when they were going for the illusion.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure if they had Zeus ulti for that, they would have maybe even gotten a duel off, or at the very least killed the Wisp, which doesn't sound like a huge thing, but just getting a little bit better of a trade from not having blown everything on a Batrider illusion definitely would have been the better situation for Nip. But still, I mean, if it delays the game and allows your Ember to get some more farm, then I'm with it right now, because even though Era is 4-2 right now, his score is not terrible. It's just his farm is so far behind.
Bulldog, he's going to dispel the smoke here with the Shadow Blade, but straight away the ult coming out from Limp. But Limp has been doomed up, but maybe a little bit too late. Here comes the backup. Minus bringing in Loader. Ice Blast will fly from it. It's going to be a lovely Ice Blast as well. Onto 2. Loader and Bulldog have been effective, and Loader has, of course, not got Reincarnate available. Bulldog's going to get dropped here. Loader trying to find the Era kill. Oh, the Chain Frost. Just going to bounce to the creep. Limp has been lassoed up here by S4. We'll buy some time here with the self-heals, but it doesn't matter. We'll still go down. Double kill for Ake. And Era will be able to get himself out, but a 3-for-1 trade there for the side of Alliance. And so they're going to be very, very happy with that one indeed, even though it did start off with Bulldog getting scouted out by the ult.
Nip is kind of losing out on all fronts right now. Like, even in engagements where they're trading evenly, after the fight is over, Alliance are still getting more out of the map. So Loda, S4, and Bulldog all have a lot more CS than even the most farmed person right now on Nip, which is Limp on the Zeus, and he's got like 95 CS. The lowest of the 3 cores on Alliance is 122. So even in these engagements where, okay, we're not getting totally slaughtered, but every single time an engagement ends, we have to stick together, whereas the Alliance are able to kind of split up, do their efficient farming, and then they go to a team fight ready with the Batrider lasso, and now BKB up on S4 as well. So his initiations are going to be even harder to stop than they were previously. And during that last fight, Jonas Fan couldn't even find a dual target. Like, he thought about dueling Bulldog, but I think he decided against it after having seen the plate mail and thinking, okay, he's just way too tanky, I won't get the dual win anyway. And then, of course, Nip just ended up not winning that engagement anyway.
Bulldog walking around the same area that he was earlier with the Shadow Blade. Maybe seeing if he could find something with a Doom. He's going to see Error here now at the moment. He's going to hide in the trees, wait for those final few seconds before Shadow Blade is available again, and he's going to try and go, but straight away the Remnant from Error back out of the lane into the tree line. Just keeping it safe, keeping himself hidden. So Bulldog's just going to have to look elsewhere. 2.6k gold on him, and also let's have a look at Loader's farm. He just managed to clear up a nice ancient stack, and he himself is going to be very close to that Assault Cuirass. So it looks like AC for Loader, and it is going to be almost certainly the Shiva's Guard coming out for Bulldog next.
Yeah, very concerned on how Nip are going to deal with this Wraith King. He is so farmed at this point in the game. And the funny part is, he's this farmed and he hasn't even gone for like Maelstrom or anything. Like, typically when you have this kind of CS, you typically have one item that gives you some farming potential, but Loda has 0. It's just Halberd, Blink, Blade Mail. I mean, sure, the Blade Mail and the Halberd give you some damage, and Blink is good from going camp to camp in the jungle, but outside of that, he's pretty much just been helping his team fight. And Alliance going down towards middle lane, get the tier 2 for free.
We're going to TP up top as well here. Loader straight away, ready to defend. S4's moving in on the Batrider. Maybe see if they can find Jonas and Fan. In fact, everyone making their way back down to try and find this Legion commander. Looks like he's going to be all right for the time being. Not going to come deep enough to get him. Loader moving up the lane. He knows that Era's still there. Era will TP out. Era kind of closing in on the Battle Fury, but it's certainly not going to be the speediest of timings. 28 minutes in, and he's still missing that final Claymore to pick that one up.
Now, the problem with finishing Battle Fury now, even when he gets it, which is going to be at like 31, 32 minutes probably, he's still going to need 2 more items on top of that before he really starts to become relevant, I feel. Sure, the Battle Fury itself, it'll increase your farm rate. It'll let you get to your next item faster. There's no doubt about that. But by the time he gets this item, I think Alliance have already established the majority of the map control. So finding the space to utilize that Battle Fury is already becoming a precious commodity, which means other heroes in your team are not going to be able to get that space to farm because you're going to need all of it. Like, Era's going to need another, like a Daedalus or something like that on top of what he has now. Maybe he even needs to go back for a Lincoln's at some point because of the Doom and the Batrider. There's just so many things that he has to worry about in this game that he needs probably, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes before he's going to be able to actually do something. The fortunate part for Nip right now is that they can defend high ground. So if he gets just 1 Battle Fury and he's defending high ground with max level Slight, that could be enough.
And especially talking about high ground defense, the fact that there's now an Axe on
he's dead.
Yeah, with the relocating, that's going to be easy pick off there for the side of Alliance. Great lead in there from Bulldog with the Doom, and Era this time just wasn't ready for it.
The problem with picking heroes who have to play elusive Dota around Doom is when the Doom does hit you, you actually have no counterplay.
Bulldog's going to spot Jonas and Fan here. Pings have come out, yeah, straight away, just the TP out. Does not want to hang about when there's a Bulldog around on the Doom.
Yeah, that's a good move. And I really like the way that Bulldog's gone about this build. He just buys a casual plate mail. I actually
not
feel...
finished it's the Shivas?
No, he went back and he bought a BKB.
Okay.
But I think this is actually like one of the better ways to do it. Because Doom, like we talked about, already has such great strength gain that just by buying a casual plate mail, your effective HP versus physical damage goes through the roof. And they have Ember with Sleight of Fist, they have Tusk, who can obviously throw out the punch, and then LC, who is pretty much like late game only based off physical damage. So with that in mind, you get the BKB for the magic immunity, you don't have to worry about the Zeus and the Ember spells or anything like that. You can kind of just keep Scorched Earth on. That's going to keep you healing as long as you don't get hit by the ALT, and you can probably just tower dive if you really wanted to at this point.
NIP starting to come out of the base here, moving towards the top lane. It is just Bulldog here on his own farming. The rest of the side of Alliance all over in their own jungle. S4 moving in, and it's actually going to be Bulldog here with the Shadow Play, seeing if he can find something. Loader's already found Jonas and Fan with Minus as well. They're going to make short work there of the Legion. Now looking for the Doom on Era, but can't quite get it. Era will be able to Remnant himself away. But with the Legion down now for 40 seconds, Alliance almost certainly look to take this opportunity to try and get a push on. The pings are coming out on the base, and they want to try and make something happen, potentially in the mid lane, or they may just look towards the bottom to try and find this final tier 2. Now Loader's there with S4. They want to look at Loader. He just blinks up straight to the high ground. The ice shards will kind of block him, but look how scared NIP are. They don't want to get anywhere near because they know that S4 is going to be there with a lasso waiting. Slider Fist coming out, but as you said, Era still does not have that Battle Fury complete, and the damage, it just tickles the side of Alliance when this kind of push comes out, especially, of course, the armor here from the ice armor from Ake. Now the TP's come out. Jonas and Fan is back into the game. See if they can step up this defense, but it's going to be hard because Alliance at this point are just so damn tanky and sustainable.
I think this is maybe the lowest amount of farm I've ever seen Era have. Like, he has 97. He's not even broken 100 CS in a 33-minute game. Like, when is the last time you've seen him have this little farm? I really think that the Doom Lich offlane just totally destroyed any chance he was going to have of being relevant this game. And then he just decided, okay, well, I know I can't get lane farm. I'm just going to try to be really active and help my team get kills, which is a great way to play it. Because if you just sit in lane static like that, Alliance are always going to come out ahead. So he decided to try to change it up a bit. He got a couple of kills, but he's still not really been able to get anything major going. And Roshan here, possibly being attempted by Alliance, or they're just looking for a potential pick.
I'd love for someone on the side of NRP to come and try and have a look in onto the pit. S4 ready with the ultimate. You got Loader as well, of course. Just ready to jump on anyone that comes close. S4 will be able to get the D-ward out here. As we can see, of course, maintaining some very nice map control, of course, with the gem on S4. And here we go, they'll go for Roche. Let's see if NRP have an answer to it. Them slowly making baby steps out from the base. Alright, they're gonna spot an illusion. That illusion's gonna get some. Nice blast flying through. There's your Thunder God's Wrath, and Loader jumping straight onto Hansken. He's got the snowball, but Loader's got his life in between his hands. Will crush him, gets Limp as well. Two heroes now down on the side of NIP, and Alliance will get back to what they were trying to do before, and almost certainly will get this Roche without NIP doing anything in the vein of stopping it.
Yeah, there's no way. They only have 3 people alive at the moment, so they are pretty much dead. So for now, I just want to talk about the idea of what NIP wanted to do. So they have a couple of ways to set up like really cool combinations. Later on in the game, you can use Sleight of Fist with Searing Chain, set up a Ice Blast, and then get a duel, and then possibly like relocate.
Oh, indeed, they want to get the easy kill. And Seal Kid, he's got that written all over his face. A couple of crits there from Loader. Make sure work of that.
What is an Iceman to do?
And now the fact that this AA is down 40 seconds, you've got an Aegis, you've got Reincarnate on Loader. This is push time.
Yeah. Their whole team was too reliant on getting like levels and doing at least decently in the lanes.
Oh, S4, he's got in and he's found Jonas and Fan. There will be a snowball trying to turn this one around. Jonas and Fan with the blade, but now with the Chain Frost bouncing beautifully. Limp's been doomed up. They've already found one. They've found Hansken as well here. S4 moving in to try and finish off Limp. Will be able to get it, and GG well played is called. Alliance take game 1 with a very convincing performance, 29-13, and in a game where NIP were never really able to get themselves back on top, or even just back on the same level as the Graphs. They're a little bit screwed up at the moment, but as you saw just before them, we're up and up and up in terms of net worth and XP difference, favoring the side of Alliance.
That Lich, man. That Lich was so good. I really think that sometimes when you're playing against a lineup that has really strong mid game, all you need is one lane to do way better than it is expected, to just throw the whole game plan off. And I kind of feel like that's what happened for NIP here. Like, that is probably the least impactful I've seen Era in a game in a while, you know?
Yeah, really. And I think, yeah, as you said, Tom, it's the Lich. Just that lane. How do you farm against a Doom and a Lich?
I mean, it's Ember Spirit, and then they had up there the AA, I think. So it's not like they didn't have damage. They certainly can go for kills, but I think in the end, maybe it still would have been better for Hansken to be top. Because if he's top lane, and he has level 1 Ice Shards, you have Searing Chains, Ice Shards, with a Chilling Touch, and you can kill the Lich, or maybe even the Doom, you know? So there is potential combo play there, and I think they were just under the assumption that it wouldn't be so bad. And then Ake comes to lane with Bulldog, and it's like, oh, we actually can't do anything in this lane. And eventually they did rotate, but by that time I feel it was a little bit too late. And Hansken ended the game, 1-11. He didn't have a great time. He was trying to make things happen, and it's kind of what happens when you're playing a Tusk and your lanes don't go well, but you still know that you have to be the guy who goes in, right? Because Snowball just works that way. You can't just run. You have to be in the fight, and every time he was, unfortunately, it was a death for him.
Yeah, it was just impressive all around from Alliance, and obviously shout-outs to both S4 really and Loader, who only died once each.
Yeah.
I mean, the core performance was great. S4 on his bat, bringing it back in. And Wraith King, 5 kills, 13 assists. Loader was just involved in everything across the map. He was a very active carry, and it paid off, and it was just too much for the side of NIP to deal with. But of course, this is game 1 of the 2-game series. We'll see if NIP are able to switch it up for game 2 and try and get an equalizer here against Alliance. But that's it from myself and Andy for the time being. Straight over to the panel to see what they've got to say about game 1.